Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just wanted to go over some quick numbers with you real quick about Generac generators. Now, they've doubled in price over the last couple years, and just recently I helped my father-in-law decide if he wanted to get one or not. So we got a quote from Generac, and this is what we came up with. Now, a couple years ago I helped a friend get one, and we used a third-party installer, and it was roughly about $6,000 to $7,000 by the time it was all said and done. Well, now, according to Generac, they don't allow third-party installers to do this stuff anymore. They had too many problems with people not coming out and servicing what they installed. So now, according to the spokesperson for Generac, only Generac is allowed to come install these things. And they've gone up on the kilowatts. Now, 2 years ago, the house I was talking about, they said he needed a 20 kilowatt generator, which is what he got. Well, now they're saying you need a 22 kilowatt generator. Are you really going to use that much power? Probably not. But the problem is, Generac has to cover their butts. You might only really need a 12 kilowatt generator. But if they install a 12 kilowatt generator at your house and turns out it can't run everything, well, then there's going to be problems. So to cover their bases, they just tell everybody you need a 22 kilowatt generator. Okay, so that is $13,000. Okay, that's everything. The generator, they pull all the permits, they come out and install it, transfer switch, wire it all up, everything, except for your propane tank and fuel. Okay, now it also comes with a 10-year warranty, but there's a catch to that. You have to prove that it was maintained properly in order to get the 10-year warranty. Well, since there's no longer any third-party installers, it's only Generac, you have to go with their service plan. Now you get 2 years for free. After that, it's $200 a year for the maintenance package. Times 8 years, obviously, $1,600. Now, on to the fuel. According to Generac, you need a minimum of 250-gallon tank. Any tank smaller than that, and you'll start to run into flow issues. It won't flow enough fuel to the generator to make it run properly. Okay? So the average cost, now this is to buy, I don't know what to rent, but to buy, to have it installed, pull permits and everything, $1,200 for the tank. Okay? Now, fuel around here, the propane, that obviously the charge is higher for it to be delivered. They got to send a truck out. It's $4 per gallon. Okay? 250 gallons, that's another $1,000. So then you get into, on the Generac website, how much does this thing use? Well, according to Generac, it uses 2.1 gallons per hour at 50% load and 3.6 gallons per hour at full load. So, at 50% load, a 250 gallon tank is going to last you about 119 hours or 4.96 days, roughly 5 days. Even though the salesman tells you it'll last a week, that's not true. I don't know. This is at 50% load, so maybe if it's only at 20% load or 15 or something, maybe it'll stretch out to the full 7, but still, according to the math, 50% load, you're burning $200 a day in fuel. Okay? So, even if you could stretch out another 2 days, you're still looking at about roughly between $150 and $200 a day in fuel. Okay? Now, if you're running at 100% load, 250 gallon tank would last you 69 hours or 2.89 days. So basically, that's about $333 a day in fuel. So the total cost, before you even run it, is $16,800. Then you have to add how much you run it into that cost. So, after we did all this figuring, our opinion is it is not worth getting a Generac generator unless you have some very, very important stuff, like life critical things. Then I can't see how you can justify having a Generac generator. You can buy a very nice Honda inverter generator that will run pretty much everything in your house except for your central AC for a third of this cost and won't even burn anywhere near the amount of fuel. When I went through Hurricane Matthew in 2018, I got a new generator now, but basically it was like a 5,000 watt generator, and I ran it. We were out of power for an entire week, and I was able to run my whole house, and I could run the dryer, the stove, or the water heater, not all at the same time, but I could pick and choose which one I needed to use. So I could turn on the water heater in the evening, let it heat up, shut off, and then we all get our showers. I could turn on the stove to cook dinner. When we needed to wash some clothes, I could fire up the dryer. And I ran that thing, like I said, for a whole week. And I think I used roughly somewhere around $300 in fuel for that whole entire week. So, I think it's about time Generac gets with the times and builds an inverter generator that is a heck of a lot more fuel efficient, because these things start up and run and they just run wide open. Doesn't matter how much load you have on it. So here it is. If you're thinking about getting one, this is what you're going to have to deal with.